So here we are, chopping it up about a live action Black Adam film, a project that has been in development hell since 2007. We all gonna ask the most important question. Was it worth the wait? For Dwayne Johnson, yes. For the authority that BA has in the DCEU now, yes. For some of this other nonsense in the movie, hell no. Black Adam, the latest entry in the DCEU, covers a man out of time who 5,000 years ago, after being treated brutally, that was some fucked up shit going on, my man's is bestowed with the powers of a god. Now here he is in modern times looking for a little bit of revenge and ignoring the modern day tropes of traditional heroes. Now, much like everything else in the comic book genre, this film opened up with some backstory. We're going to conduct 2600 BCE, before Christ and before a whole lot of other shit. But when we're here, we're getting some emotion because we're seeing how tough the living conditions are, the working conditions are, and it's really kind of hitting you like, damn, this man came from the slums. I really enjoyed how serious the pain and misery was. There was no looseness to it. They wanted you to be able to see, hey, when this dude is fucking up people later on, you can kind of see why. All right, I got you. Thor, Love, and Thunder, looking at you, Gore. This is how you do it, Taika Waititi. This is how you play up some serious shit. And BA did that. But I did start to get a little restless because we were introduced to Kondok 2 times in a span of, 15 minutes? With that being said, once Dwayne Johnson, as we get into the cast, comes on the screen, bruh, you're instantly like, yo, he's that dude, right? The brutality, the physicalness. You see him and he represents power without doing anything. I love the fact that they kept the hood on his head for that entire opening sequence. And the fact that they actually had him murder people in this movie really added to the grit. We ain't dealing with none of that Suicide Squad bullshit where we can't have them murdering people. So let's make the bad guys into mummy zombies that look like poop. Come on, dog. This was a much better option in this movie.
Heroes don't kill people. Well, I do.
And to top it all off, Dwayne Johnson's take on this character doesn't waver in personality. There is no sense of, hey, coming to the mic, Black Adam. All right, you guys. What do women have in common with giraffes? No, there is no stand-up comedy. There ain't none of that shit. Where you have Thor and Hawk in the MCU that are just joke after joke after joke. Black Adam was serious throughout this movie. If he did have a comedy moment, it was perfectly spliced in to kind of let up the tension of a kill. Only a few times that happened. Once you leave the movie theater, you're soaking in all of the cameos and appearances. Wow, this movie is arguably the most connected DCEU film out of all of them. I absolutely loved what they did with this movie and making the world feel more connected, adding little pieces of story to these other characters we've seen. It also kind of allows for the audience to understand that Black Adam most likely takes place after Peacemaker in chronological order of the DCEU. That was great. Now, to talk about the JSA, they are such a mixed bag. People are going to be debating about this shit on social media for the next 10 years. Get ready. I swear to God. On one hand, the JSA look terrific. The costumes, the actors, the effects, all of that was beautiful. Aldous Hodges' Carter Hall was one of the best things about this movie from an appearance standpoint. They managed to make Hawkman not look goofy. He had the helmet on and everything. He didn't look goofy. He looked badass. Even the abilities of Cyclone were gorgeous on the screen. That's the best that wind-based abilities have ever looked on the big screen. Fuck you, The Last Airbender. Fuck you, M. Night Shyamalan. Some of these personalities I ain't feeling. Hawkman got his ass toe up in every scenario possible throughout this entire movie. They made Carter Hall a warrior who's reluctant to listen, a warrior who's one-dimensional, because he's constantly in these confrontations with, all right now, don't make me get physical with you.
Stop it. Get some help. Give yourself a chance.
I'm like, nigga, you done already embarrassed the black community enough in this movie. Wakanda Forever's getting ready to come out in a couple of weeks, and you out here getting your ass tossed across the screen. You need to be trying to work with this motherfucker. Asalala make him. May you walk in Jehovah's faith. He wasn't much of a leader, in my opinion. I was not feeling his leadership, but visually, he was that nigga. Speaking of characters that I really didn't care for that much, was anybody else as annoyed as me with the side characters in this movie? I'm talking about the chunky uncle who told you 3 times in the film that he was an electrician. Oh, they wore that shit out. Little boy, oh my God. These motherfuckers were so tired. The kid is having multiple scenes in the movie where we gotta show him on his skateboard. Woo! They played that up like it was Back to the Future, like he Marty McFly. They're more annoying than Darcy in the Thor movies.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
And since we're gonna talk about other things in the movie that were kind of repeated over and over again, the location they chose of significance in this movie, all comic book films have them, was this kind of throne type of setup that was looking over Condon that had the statue of his son in the background. We went there for about 5 scenes in the movie, no cap. And I honestly was never tired of going there because it had so much layered meaning to numerous characters. But one thing that was constantly repeated that started to pick at me was slow-mo. BA's skill set is already repetitive enough in every fight scene. But when you have slow-mo being used in every action scene, it really starts to become a nuisance because it slows everything down. It drags these moments out, especially when we know how it's going to end. Black Adam didn't lose any fights in this movie. We know how this is going to end. The runtime of this movie being 2 hours and 5 minutes was right on point. Just when I started to kind of move around in my seat a little bit, like, oh shit, okay, when it's gonna end, you know, they got to the climactic battle and everything was wrapped up nicely. Now, with that being said, we started to regress again in terms of villains in these comic book films because we're getting the big CGI monster again, where the villain for this film was a descendant of the person that brutalized BA before, you know, way back then. And when he pops up on the screen, I was like, fuck, because I thought that BA's confrontation with the JSA was good enough. I thought that him fighting Intragang was good enough. But this whole CGI spectacle was like a way to kill off Dr. Fate, get Carter emotionally tied into a character, to show a slightly different side to him. And the bad guy was so fucking forgettable. So, Black Adam, what does it get? What does it deserve? Black Adam gets a mother freaking B-. Hey, this is probably one of the better movies in the DCEU. That might not be saying much, but it's saying much. All right. It's been real, but it's been weird. Get out of here, bitch.